If you're looking for a new TCG to scratch that itch, or you're a big fan of Star Wars, you should check out Star Wars Unlimited.
Hey, that's really cool and all. You guys want to know my deck profile for Star Wars Unlimited? It has to do with the starter deck that began all the way in set 1. Let me take you to Mando. So yeah, guys, let me introduce you to Mando Control. As you can see, it is a yellow heroic base. We got, same color for the base and the hero. This is basically a control deck which also revolves around space. Very rarely are you going to play ground units, unless you absolutely have to, but this is a space control themed deck. So, starting off our space assault, we have Death Space Skimmish. Just in one play, if you control another space unit, you can exhaust a enemy unit. Or just, it doesn't say enemy, it says you may exhaust a unit. Which again, for this deck is really good because you can, control your opponent's board. If they have something that's scary, you can exhaust it, and now they have to wait till the next phase to attack with it. But if you play your cards right, they're never going to attack with it. Next in the Space Assault, we got Vanguard Ace. One played for each other card you played this phase, give an experience token to a unit. So a great way to buff up any of your guys that need be to be buffed up. We got 3 of the Wing Leader. Give me 1 minute. Give us 2 experience tokens to another friendly Rebel unit. We do run some Rebel stuff in here. As well as we have 3 copies of the Outer Rim Head Hunter. Raid 1, as well as on attack. If you control the leader unit, you may exhaust a non-leader unit. So again, just for that control, your opponent basically will not be attacking if you have anything to say about it. Next up, we have Shuttle Tidarian. On attack, discard a card from your deck. If it's an odd cost, give an experience token to another unit. Again, really great for boosting up your guys. Next up, we have Pirate Starfighter. Another grade 1, as well as when it's played, return a friendly non-leader unit to its owner's hand. A great way to return something to your hand if it's too damaged, and then you can play it back out in full health. We got 3 copies of the Vanilla Alliance X-Wing. And for the final, leading the final assault, we have Wolfpack Escort. When played, return a non-friendly leader, non-vehicle unit to the hand. So if you do have ground units out, and let's say one of them is about to be destroyed because they're low on health, play this guy to bounce them back to the hand. And when it comes to the ground units, the only ground units we have are the new things introduced recently, which is the piloting skills. We have 2 vanilla copies of these pilots right here. I know I'm going to replace them with either run 3 copies of Anakin Skywalker or a 1-1 split of these 2. But anywho, back to what I was saying. So we got 2 vanillas right here, 2 vanilla pilots. We have 1 copy of Anakin Skywalker. I'll try spinning. I almost said let's try spinning. He does when an attached unit completes an attack and it survives, return this upgrade to its owner's hand. So this is basically you can hand loop this for a very unique ability because when you pilots are counted as upgrades. And this deck loves upgrades because when you play an upgrade, you can exhaust this leader. If you do, exhaust an enemy unit with 4 less remaining HP. So you could loop Anakin back in your hand, play it again, and then trigger Mando. 1 copy of the Independent Smuggler. Again, I might replace the 2 vanillas for a 2-2 split of these 2. It has Raid 1 when it is attached. No, it has Raid 1 when it's attached and Raid 1 when it's not attached. So neat little body there. We have the main man himself, the Mandalorian Din Djarin, weathered pilot. When played as a unit, you can exhaust up to 2 ground units. And then when played as an upgrade, exhaust an enemy unit in this area. So if your opponent does have space, they're not going to use it. We have 2 copies of Boshak. When he's played as an upgrade, discard 2 cards from your deck. Return each of those cards with an odd cost. We do have a lot of odd cost in this deck. 3 copies of the best droid in the galaxy, S.C.D. Fun fact about R2, and I'm pretty sure BB-8 has the same effect, is if he's attached to a vehicle, you can attach another pilot as well. Oh, my bad. I misread that. This upgrade can be played in a friendly unit with a pilot on it. My bad. Attach unit gains. You may play or deploy one additional pilot. Oh, yeah, okay. So I already basically said that. I thought I fucked up my words. But yeah, 3 copies of the best droid on the planet. You can debate me on that. Then we got 3 copies of Dagger Squadron Pilot. Another just vanilla body. Basically more upgrades to fuel Mando. Now, besides the pilot upgrade, we also have regular upgrades. 2 copies of Wanted. When this bounty is collected, you can ready up 2 friendly resources, which is really great to have. We have 3 copies of Smuggling Compartment. You can attach to a vehicle, on attack, ready a resource. Sure, a great way to make sure that you always have resources ready. We will play 3 copies of Sharpshooter Reflex. When played, you may attack with the attached unit that this is attached to. That goes right there. And then we have 1 copy of Political Pressure. Choose an opponent. They may discard a random card from their hand. If they don't, create 2 Battle Droid tokens. Like I said, there's not going to be a lot of ground units. This is one of those exceptions. Cool little 2 Battle Droid tokens. So that way they either deal with your space, and if they have to deal with your space, you just have the 2 Battle Droids just chip away until they eventually have to deal with them. If that makes sense. 2 copies of In Pursuit. Exhaust a friendly unit. If you do, exhaust an enemy unit. And then we have 3 copies of Punch It, which attack with the vehicle unit, it gets +2/+0 for this attack. Now, one thing I didn't do, my apologies, is I didn't talk about the leader, Mando. But yeah, so as I stated before, when you played an upgrade, this unit has a lot of upgrades. You can exhaust this leader to exhaust an enemy unit with 4 less remaining HP. If you have 6 or more, you can deploy this leader, deploy him on the ground unit, and then now, instead of suspending him, it's just when you play an upgrade, you may exhaust an enemy unit with 6 or less remaining HP. So yeah, so once he's awakened and he comes to the field, if you have multiple upgrades you can do in the phase, this boy is going to trigger and start controlling your opponent's board. But yeah, guys, that is the Mando Space Control deck. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is not my only space deck. I also have another one built around the Vulture Droid, Swarming Vulture Droid. So let me know if you guys want to see that. I also have Obi-Wan, or a buff Obi-Wan deck. If you want a profile about that, let me know too. As well as the Ghost Crew from Rebels. So if you guys want to see more deck profiles from Star Wars Unlimited, let me know in the comments below. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.